Welcome back to another session of Dark Souls 2 commentary. Before we begin, I'd like to give a shout out to Melodic and Like a Boss 2012. They were two subscribers that I just randomly met in the arena. We just got randomly matched together and I thought that was pretty cool, so nice playing with you guys. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the matches. I'm using a dual swordsman build. I'm level 150 with a Falchion or Falchion, however you want to say it, in the left hand, and a Drake Keeper sword in the right hand. I don't use any buffs or anything. And this is one of my least favorite builds to fight, is the buff Santier Spear. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. Santier Saint Spear. I don't know. But you guys know which weapon I'm talking about, and I hate fighting this thing. And this match just was not going my way at all. I just kept mistiming everything, and as you can see, that thing has ridiculous range on it. But the good thing is that because it has so much range, you can actually parry that even at the edge of its actual attack radius, so keep that in mind. Now at this point I'm not feeling too good about this match. I mean, I think one of those knives will kill me if he hits me with it. So I'm really not sure what I'm going to do. I think this match was a great point, or it illustrates the point that you should never give up on a match even if you are about to lose, because you can always get off a lucky parry, or your opponent can make a mistake like that. I pretty much read what he was going to do and threw out the parry, and luckily I got the parry off in time and finished the match that way. So I would definitely practice parrying if it helps so much fighting those buff builds, because they tend to R1 spam. Okay, so this kid is a Moonlit Greatsword using, I think he's got a small, it looks like a small parrying shield. I forget what the name of that shield is he's using. And that lightning's pretty easy to dodge. When people start casting, I usually try to back off, and I either get in their face or I back off to farther range and try to pick them off with the bow. And there you go again. I read what he was going to do. He thought I was vulnerable in my recovery animation, then he rushes in, and I just throw out the parry, and I get that too. So that's something I'm really been trying to work on, and I mean, it's really hard at first. You have to expect to lose trying to parry a lot, but once you start to get the hang of it, you'll find you can either turn around a lot of fights, or you decide a lot of fights a lot quicker, because if you can predict when they're going to attack and bait them into attacking, you can parry that almost every time. Now this dragon buddy here, I think he's using the Grand Lance. To be honest, I've never picked up a lance or used it. They just seem really predictable in PvP. I mean, they can hit like a truck, but that's pretty much their only move, is that forward thrust, because it's a lance, so they tend to be pretty easy to parry and also easy to dodge. You can usually roll backstab that with very little trouble. I mean, see, literally that's the only move he can do, is that little thrust forward. If you stay out of the range or just roll behind him, he really can't do a whole lot. I have fought some good people that knew what they were doing with the lances, and those people are really hard to combat, but for your average user, that roll backstab or just that backstab is going to happen pretty much every time. I think the one downfall, personally, that I experience in fighting is that if I'm pretty comfortable with my opponent, where, I mean, like, I think I'm gonna win, so I end up letting the fight go on longer than it should just because I'm having fun with it, and I hate to see fights end that quickly. So if I had to pick out one weakness, it's letting the fights go on too long to the point where my opponent actually ends up turning it around and beating me. There's not much you can do about that backstab there, but alright, so he pulls out his katana and then he goes for the running attack, which is pretty easy to dodge when you expect it. Pretty much, if you see someone with a katana, that's what they're doing. They're going to use a R1 running attack. And actually, that kid just got parried. And it all comes down to just, watching what your opponent does. If you would throw out an attack and then watch how they react, and you see them start to move in, get ready to throw out the parry, and you'll get them a lot of the time. I got matched up with the same kid twice in a row, so I'm not really going to say anything about this one. I still beat him this time, but I don't get a cool parry off, but it, just ends up being a normal match.
Thank you.
Now this one is a really good match. I really like this one, and I'm so glad I got it recorded. I guess that guy wants to, or he likes to fight up on the scaffolding thing, which is cool. I mean, I like that. And I think that's just the regular twin blade, but they're always infused with poison because they inflict poison really easily. See there, I left myself open. And you can see how fast that poison just builds up. But yeah, I pretty much saw that one coming, that after someone applies poison to you, they're usually going to try to switch to a bigger weapon and try to finish you off pretty quickly. And I just saw that Black Knight Greatsword, and I threw out the parry in time, so that's... I really love the parries. If you can get good at them, I don't know, it brings a whole new level of satisfaction to playing and beating someone. So here's your standard, I don't even know, it looks like a buffed rapier. I don't know which one it is, and of course, you know, he's casting, I think it's called Affinity now, not Pursuers, but it's the same thing. And see, literally all you have to do is throw out an attack and see if they're going to attack. If they look like they're moving in during your recovery animation time, that's when you want to throw out the parry. It's usually easiest to do with, I think, the parrying dagger or like the scimitar, because you can parry almost instantly. It's a little hard to throw out a parry with a medium shield during your recovery animation because you have to wait longer. I mean, you can do it, it's a little bit more difficult to do. That's why I like using the curved swords for that type of parrying, because you can just throw it out so instantly that they usually don't have time to react to it. They're already attacking and you'll get them. I probably wouldn't ever use, I think it's a curved dragon greatsword, I think that's what it's called. I would not use a weapon like I would stay away from any ultra greatsword. They're just too slow. I mean, you can stand in front of them and keep rolling in front of their attacks and you'll never get hit. And that guy's gone. Yeah, that's the thing about the bridge level, is that you can, even if you think that your opponent, you know, like you look at their build and it's like, oh wow, it's a Havel with a bunch of buffs and I'm gonna lose. Roll around the bridge a lot. You'd be surprised at how many times they'll make a mistake and roll themselves right off the edge. I've definitely had that happen at least a few times, and it's pretty funny. Yeah, this build is or this guy's build is a buff Santir spear with crystal magic weapons, so I'm already kind of thinking, oh great, he's one of those nerds. But this guy tends to leave himself open after doing the two-handed R1 attack. That's when I usually run in and get a quick hit with either the Falchion or the Drake Keeper sword, which that's probably my favorite straight sword, is the Drake Keeper sword. It's strong. It's got good poise breaking. I definitely recommend it. It doesn't have any thrust move though, so that's probably the only downfall of it. And there's that spin to win move that halberds and those spear users are so famous for, but now this fight ends a little anticlimactically, unfortunately. I don't know why he would try to, I think that's Firestorm? I don't know why you would try to do that there, but you just completely leave yourself vulnerable. That's going to wrap it up for this session of commentary, so thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. Thank you.